Hello, my happy readers. It's Bedtime Stories with me, Issy. Are you ready to share a new story? Well, I have chosen a spookily fun Halloween story to share. The title is Halloween Cat. If you have this book at home, you can read along with me. The author, the person who has written this story, and the illustrator, the person who has drawn all the wonderful pictures, is Tanya Parrott. Now we're going to meet Chip and Violet. They are rather curious about what is going on in the house. There is a lot of activity. There's a lot of scooping and scraping. I wonder what's happening. Shall we read and find out? It was very early one October morning. Chip woke up, stretching and yawning. The house was lively with excitement and noise, so she left her cosy bed, climbing all over her toys. The family was gathered in the kitchen downstairs, crowded round the table, but not sitting on chairs. What they were holding she didn't recognize. Big, round, orange things right before her eyes. She leapt onto the chair and up onto the table, then crashed into the orange things, leaving her unstable. "Clumsy cat, mind the pumpkins," a cheerful April said. "They should mind me," Chip thought, rubbing her sore head. The table was covered with tools for scooping, scraping, and cutting. Orange gunk was flying around while they did the pumpkin cutting. To get a better look, she climbed across their laps. Rocky was under the table, happily eating all the scraps. Sitting on Blake's lap, she peered at what he had made. A terrible face stared back at her, and she fell to where Rocky laid. "Ah! This orange stuff is really tasty," Rocky said while licking his messy paws. But before she could respond, she was lifted up and placed back on all fours. "It's Halloween, and today we're making pumpkin decorations. Scooping the insides, carving on faces, then putting lights in our creations." Chip listened to April as she explained all about Halloween, then ran off to tell her sister Violet about what she had just seen. Her sister was still fast asleep, snoring little mews. Chip shouted, "Violet, wake up! I have exciting news!" "What fun!" Violet said, jumping down onto the floor. She couldn't wait for Halloween and longed to find out more. They went to find the pumpkins, and Chip tried to climb on top, but the lid slipped off, and poor Chip fell in, landing with a plop. "Help! Help! I'm stuck and covered in yucky orange goo!" Violet shouted, "Oh dear, I will be back to rescue you." She chuckled quietly to herself, but stopped quickly in her tracks as something was flying from the ceiling trying to attack. She dived behind a plant pot and peeked to see what flew so fast. Whoosh! Looking up, she saw some bats. How would she make it past? Zoom! She counted to 3 and ran as fast as her paws could go. Crash! Ah! She shouted as she crashed and hurt her little toe. Opening her eyes slowly, she saw a scary man with bolts in his neck. She hissed and meowed so loud that April came running over to check. She picked up the scared little kitten and gave her a big cuddle. Violet jumped down and led April to Chip to help her out of her muddle. She lifted out the kitten, who was now gooey with an orange glisten. Chip meowed loudly, thankfully now out of the sticky prison. "I think you need a wash," April said, picking pumpkin seeds off Chip's fur. Chip hated baths, but she felt sticky, so she let out an agreeing purr. After her bath, her fur was clean and white as fallen snow. "You are free to go play," April said as she got up and turned to go. "Halloween seems so very creepy. Seeing scary monsters makes me feel weepy." "Maybe not everything is terribly frightful. Let's see if Mum is doing something more delightful." Back downstairs, Mummy was filling up bowls with colourful sweets. She saw the cats looking and said, "It's for the children who trick or treat." "Not sure about tricks, but I do like treats," said Violet, licking her lips. Just then, they heard the doorbell ring and Daddy rushed to open it. The kittens followed Daddy to see who was at the door. There stood terrible monsters, a devil, a ghost, and more. Chip let out a scared meow and fainted at Violet's feet. But Daddy just laughed and clapped as the group sung, "Trick or treat." "Treats for all," he said, passing around the massive bowl of sweets. Chip recovered from her fainting and got back up on her feet. "Chip, Violet," April called, "come here, I have a surprise." "I do hope it is not scary," Chip said, preparing to cover her eyes. April stood in the room with her hands behind her back. Smiling, she said, "How would you two like to be Halloween cats?" She pulled out a box of tiny costumes, perfect sizes for both the cats. They were cute little zombies, ghosts, pumpkins, skeletons, and witches' hats. Violet rushed over, excited, but just what would she choose? She tried on every outfit, mask, and even witch's shoes. She popped out of the box as a pirate, a princess, and a ghost. They all looked so amazing, but which one did she like most? After dressing up, the family went out trick or treating. Chip was so tired from all the excitement that she ended up sleeping. Violet was really sad that she couldn't go trick or treating. Her Rocky costume was so scary, it would have everybody fleeting. When the family came home, the kittens rushed over to greet them at the door. April gave them the biggest cuddle as they leapt up from the floor. April showed the cats all the yummy treats she had been given, and then told them about all the naughty tricks she had forgiven. Finally, she pulled out 2 little buckets full of tasty cat treats. She placed them in front of the cats, ready for them to eat. The cats were so excited, it really lifted their mood. Violet wasted no time getting started. She really liked her food. Once the family had gone to bed and turned off all the lights, the kittens climbed onto their tower, glad for no more frights. "I love dressing up as Rocky," Violet said, as she rested her sleepy head. I think next year I will want to dress up as a ghost or a witch instead. I will definitely not be a pumpkin, Chip replied as she curled up, yawning and closed her tired eyes. What a treat of a story that was! Chip and Violet found out all about Halloween and trick-or-treating. And didn't they look just great in their cat costumes? I'm so glad that they did get some cat treats at the end. I hope you've enjoyed this Shed Time story. And if you want to, you can like, share, follow and subscribe to Shed Time Stories. Then you'll be ready for the next book we can share together. Bye-bye!